Start streaming. It'll take a minute to boot up. Let's see if it works. It says it's starting. All right, so I got the screen up here. I know you can't see, but I got the screen up here where he's getting ready to walk up. He's back behind his car and he's walking towards you out of the dark. So we're starting to get people in. Hey, Sarah, safety man. All right, I got concerned citizen. Where's the Constitution on tonight? And I'm sure many of y'all have already seen the video on multiple channels. But I've got him here live tonight to kind of fill in more information. He does have to be careful about what he says. But there's more to the story and how they treated him. So I'm going to just say hello to concerned citizen. Where's the Constitution? Real quick. Make sure he can hear me and y'all can hear him. Hello.
How you doing, Steve?
Pretty good. I can hear him. Can y'all hear him okay? And give me a 1. All right, 5 by 5. All right, I'm going to just play a couple of minutes of the video real quick, and then we'll let him and me get started. And this is in San Jacinto
Yeah,
County,
what's going on? You got your body cam on this time.
Texas.
I had it on last time.
Oh, okay.
Didn't they advise you to leave already?
Well, I mean, yeah, but they didn't trespass me or anything. They just said you need to leave. But I was standing right there. But I walked off right here. I'm on the public easement. I'm on the public easement.
They can give you a verbal criminal trespass. You leave.
It's not a criminal trespass. They just asked me. I was standing right over there.
Still, man.
Yeah, I'm not about to get trespassed.
I didn't make a big issue out of it last
Yeah,
time.
I'm not about to get trespassed.
No. Listen. I didn't make a big issue
I
out
was
of it
trying to
last
get the screen up on my computer. I got my hotspot running, but first I turn on my hotspot,
Yeah.
my phone decides to start updating everything because
Well,
it hadn't been active.
they
in
can't
years.
hear what's being in the video when you talk
that
to me.
that car pulled up,
Oh,
saw
okay.
me, stopped, and then peeled out the tires.
While you were recording us, you were walking backwards and almost got hit by another car.
No,
I
that's
have
not
it on
true.
body
I got it all on camera.
I have it all on body cam.
Yeah, I got it all on camera. You were in your car.
I did not get in my car.
You did not have me on body cam, almost getting hit by a vehicle.
Pretty sure I had it on body cam.
Yeah, I was pointing this camera right at those guys when they stopped, looked at me, and then peeled out the camera, and then that guy...
You're in public. You're intoxicated.
I'm not intoxicated. If I was intoxicated, you would be able to tell.
Does anybody sound like? Does he sound like he's
No, you would be
intoxicated?
able to tell that I was absolutely intoxicated
Sanchez or whatever his name
Hey.
is full of shit.
because I'm not over the limit. I'm not intoxicated.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it
If
does.
I feel that you're a danger to yourself or the public,
I am not a danger to
I
myself
can
or the
put you in
public.
jail for PI.
And you would do that, why?
Because you almost got hit by a car.
No, I didn't. I was standing right there by that mailbox. Had they hit me, they would have hit that mailbox too.
You almost got hit by a car twice. At that. You're advised to leave. You're still on this property. Okay. We try to be nice.
No,
to
no,
you.
no, no. I walked up to her to see what she was saying because of the road noise. She said, you need to leave, and I backed off to public property. I did what I was supposed to. I am abiding
About
by
what
the
mark
law,
on the timer
as
are
I
you,
always
Steve?
do. Okay?
You're out in public intoxicated?
No, I'm not. I'm just out in public filming. Exercising my First Amendment right to film police officers in the performance of their duties. And that's all. So, you know, there's no law being broken here. And I think it's time for you to go find somebody who is breaking the law.
Go on, turn
No,
around.
sir, back up.
Turn around.
No, back.
Go on, turn around.
What for?
Turn around. Put your hands behind your back. Stop
Guys.
resisting.
936-653-4367.
I am on the ground, scratching my glasses. Scratching my glasses. You're breaking my glasses. Get off of me. There's my glasses. Pick them up. Pick up my glasses. Pick up my glasses. trying to grind my head into the ground. Ow! Get your knee off my neck. You're grinding my head into the ground. I am not resisting. Yeah, lift me up a little bit. You're grinding.
All right, I think that's enough. If y'all want to see the beginning and the rest of it, which is just a minute or two, y'all can go to his channel, and I'll put a link over here for y'all to get to it. If you haven't already seen it, but I know a lot of y'all already have. So, can you hear me, CC?
Yes, sir.
All right. First off, you told me something about that parking lot. Can you fill them in on the parking lot? That parking lot belongs to?
Okay. Yeah, that entire parking lot, the white part that you can see all the way up to the post that support the roof of that building is owned by TxDOT. It's all public property.
And the TxDOT just lets them use it for parking because they don't need it right now for roadway or anything. They're just being nice.
Be a wagon trail.
So he was never trespassing. He was not even on their property, it doesn't sound like, because he was in the parking lot the whole time.
I technically was 3 feet away from the front door trying to hear what she said, and I was still on public property. But as soon as she said, "We're closed, you need to leave," I just took a couple of steps back over to the pavement, the freshly laid asphalt, and stood there next to their mailbox.
All right, and when they asked you to leave, you were already not on their property. You were in the parking lot.
Correct.
Right, so even when they asked you to leave, you aren't on their property, so it doesn't have any bearing on anything except for the cops that asked.
Right.
All right. So
I already knew that I was on public property.
Yeah. All right, so what kind of injuries did you get?
Multiple lacerations to my forehead and temple area, along with a nice little squiggle mark that kind of reminded me of the "Don't Tread on Me" snake over my temple.
And folks, at the end of the video, at the very end of the video, if you go to his channel, you can see how bloody his face is from all this. And they ground his face into that new pavement. And I don't know how many of y'all know just how fume-ridden new pavement is, but even days or weeks after it's put down, there's lots of fumes coming off of it. And when you put your face in there, those fumes get in your nostrils and your throat and your lungs and your eyes. And the chemicals in there are nasty as hell.
Yeah. Well, this was less than a week laid. They did it sometime when I wasn't looking. I blinked for a minute, and they had put down fresh blacktop.
All right, so fill in whatever information, whatever part of the story you want to fill in.
Okay, well, you were asking me about the injuries, and the forehead was just the most visible part. Both of my knees were ground in. I had 3 cops laying on top of me. I had one across my abdomen, one across my head and shoulders, and one across my legs. The 4th one was down by my feet trying to pull me out from underneath them while I had 3 grown men, and you saw how big they were. Okay, I'm 5'7" and 160 pounds. Okay, these guys were pulling me backwards, and then that didn't work, and I got over and started hoisting on my arm, and on that freshly laid asphalt with those guys laying on top of me, I was pinned to the ground, and so was my arm. And they just drug my arm out from underneath me regardless. And so, yeah, my knees were all bloody. I didn't even know that. My shorts were stuck to my knee where it pasted itself together. When they called for EMS to come out and tend to my injuries, and all the guy did was spray a little peroxide on a piece of gauze and dab the bits of asphalt off my forehead. Now, my eye, after I got booked into jail, my eye swole up like a racquetball. And possibly those chemicals and stuff and toppings you were talking about had worked its way into my eye, because my eye was oozing, okay? And over my eye was oozing into my eye. And that wasn't cleaned up very well, so it just continued to grow and grow and grow. And by the time I saw the magistrate, he said, "Son, if you don't bond out today, you need to request medical attention. Now, that's the extent of the injuries, other than over the course of the 2 following days, I could feel swelling in my head and all the like bruising type pain in my legs and back. They weren't just laying on me, they were squirming, they were grinding.
And that's what you would expect from our police officers in this day and age. They're not trained to be nice. They're trained to be thugs, violent thugs. And that's what they do. And they get away with it. And we let them. But that's why a lot of us are here doing what we're doing, is to expose this.
Well, I had a conversation with someone in town just a little while ago, and on my daily run. And I pointed at my forehead and I said, "This is courtesy of the San Jacinto County Sheriff's Department." And he goes, "Man, I've grown up here all my life. I try not to have any contact with them whatsoever, no matter what." And he goes, "They're just so bad. You can't have dealings with them." And I said, "Well, we've been letting them get away with it for too damn long, and I have been after them for 2.5 years, and I guess they finally had enough."
Now, well, and you've been doing this behind the scenes a lot, so you're not new to this, and if anybody, y'all may remember, I've already talked about you on a year or so ago, whenever it was, so you've been out here for a while, and you've been working behind the scenes because you're kind of limited on what you could do for a while, and
right,
this was what happens when you go out again. Such a So
truth it is, I've been hearing some reports of some of them getting a little out of control, and I'm like, well, who was this? What shift were they on, and what were they driving? What do they look like? Do you remember their name? And I would try to track them down. So a lot of times, even though I never produced a video, I was out investigating. I have a fraction of a terabyte of video that's never before seen, but for my eyes only, just because it didn't seem like content that people would be interested in. But as the stories progress and the lines start to merge, that video may one day be relevant.
Yeah, I lost my cursor. I was going to try to bump up my audio a little bit. I'm getting a request to bump it up a little bit. So, Sarah, how does that do? Give me a 1 for it's good, 2 for it's not, or whatever you want to do. So, there's still more to the story. Tell us about the magistrate and the charges.
Okay. So, unbeknownst to me, there were people working behind the scenes to get me out. I was going to be fairly content that, I had no bond. I had no way to bond out. And so I was going to be there and maybe go for a PR bond. And I've been living here for 20 years. And so, and I've had a little bit of run-in with some of the JPs and stuff, and they are usually the magistrates. Well, I had gotten notice, a little after lunch on Thursday morning, on Thursday, that I was going to be released after I saw the magistrate. I was like, okay. Well, no, I didn't get that news yet. I had just been magistrated just before lunch, and for 2 charges, the public intoxication, the misdemeanor offense with a $500 bond, and resisting arrest, which is another misdemeanor, class B probably, and carried a $1,000 bond. And I pleaded with the judge trying to lower my bond to see if I could attempt to get out, but that's about the minimum they can set stuff at. And so I got magistrated on those 2 charges. I was unaware of any other charge, although when I was booked, I thought there were 3. I just didn't remember what the other one was. Now, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, I think they said criminal trespass, but I was on public property the whole time, so that can't be. Well, I get out of there, I go back to the little holding tank, and a little while later, sometime after lunch, they informed me that I was going to be released shortly. And about a half hour goes by. You can't tell exact time in jail. Not at all. It's kind of like the opposite of a casino with the same effect. So, sometime later, maybe 30 minutes or an hour, I asked him, I said, I thought I was going to be processed out. You've processed other people. What's going on? It's not very busy down here today. And they said, "Oh, you've got another charge. You've got to go back in front of the magistrate." I said, "A charge of what?" They said, "Criminal trespass." My question right then, but to the not informed jailers, was, "How do you trespass somebody from public property?" They said, "Well, you'll have to see the magistrate about that." Truth was, they sent somebody in there every 3 to 4 hours taking a picture of my eye after Thursday morning when they came in there to check on me. And they were holding back that charge after I saw the magistrate, then filed it because my swelling and the purpleness in my eye had not gone down. In fact, it looked like it was getting a little bit worse. They wanted to keep me there. They didn't want to release me. And so they tried to get that charge to stick so that I would have to be magistrated the next day. Steve Watson is the guy who was working in the background trying to secure my release. He had been on the phone with some of the JPs and with Chief Todd and down at the Sheriff's Department. And Chief Todd blamed the magistrate, told him the magistrate didn't see it or something. He forgot to magistrate him on that charge. Well, Steve Watson had been in touch with the magistrate, got on the phone, direct line, called him up, got an answer, and he called Chief Todd out and said, "He's lying. That charge was not here." Well, another thing Steve Watson did was send both of the magistrates that were kind of on duty. One was from that day, one was later that day or something. But Chief Todd also said this other magistrate did it, trying to bamboozle everybody. So Steve got it all straightened out. Okay, Steve Watson is the guy that runs SentinelAlert.org, and it's a local online publication about news from the surrounding counties. So he had already sent the video to the JPs. They viewed the video and called Chief Todd back and said, "You got to cut him loose. There's no probable cause on the criminal trespass." So I was able to get released 3 hours later. They tried their damnedest to keep me in there waiting for that swelling to go down, but it wouldn't do it.
And I bet they refused to let you see a doctor.
Well, you don't even have the right to ask for one until you're actually in a cell, like you get to the dorm room.
Yeah.
So until you're officially booked into the jail, which that means you're officially booked in is when you get a room, okay, and or a bunk. And so, yeah, I hit there, and they informed me about 30 minutes later that I was going to be released.
All right. And they kept your
They even
equipment,
came
of
down and
course.
took more pictures. They took more pictures before they told me I was going to be released. They hated being told they had to release me. They did not like that.
And they kept your cameras, of course.
Oh, seized for evidence. I got no receipt.
Yeah.
Anybody out there has got a camcorder that just ain't got the balls to get out there and do this, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, and guys, I never asked for money for me, and I'm not going to now. And I very seldom ask for money for anybody else. But CC here is on a very limited budget, and if anybody can help, because this is going to cost. It always does. The cops get paid to do it, then they get paid to go to court, and we have to pay our own way through all this BS. So if y'all don't like what's going on there and you got some extra money, maybe help him out. And I'll put the PayPal link in my description later, and I'll also put a link to his channel, and you can find the PayPal over there too. Also in the description will be the phone number and the Facebook to the sheriff, and y'all can handle that however y'all feel y'all want to, but the information's there. And there was something else I was going to ask you about. See, I already asked you about the camera, keeping that. There was something else, and I can't remember what it is now. But is there anything else, other information you want to get out? We're not sure the cop's name is. You think it's Sanchez, but we're not sure.
I still want to call him Dirty Sanchez, but I don't even know what that is. That's some kind of explicit term.
Yeah, well, whatever. he's definitely dirty, so. Let's
I
see.
couldn't argue with you.
I was just kind of looking through the comments here. I know you're not on the internet right now. You can't see what's going on.
Well, I can see some of the comments from when I
Okay.
had it loaded up a couple hours ago, but nothing fresh. I'm looking. My PayPal is listed right in the top description of my video.
Yeah, and I'll grab it after this video processes. I'll put in the information for people here on this channel as well. Like I said, and a link to your channel. And I'm sure there'll be updates on your channel as time goes by.
Oh, I did go ahead and do the online complaint form for the ACLU, and I see one of the most recent comments was that that I'm white, they can't help me. So
That's
we'll
pretty much.
see about that. I read through what they consider. These are the cases we don't take, and the very fine constraints they have for the types of case they do take.
The
really
ACLU
seems
is
fit.
pretty much a joke in this day and age. They don't hardly
Well,
take
they have been
anything.
poking around in the area, Steve. Let me
Yeah.
tell you, I've heard rumors that they've been doing some investigations around San Jacinto and Polk County. Now, we got a corrupt DA up in Polk County.
Oh yeah, I know that story well. Let's see here.
Yeah.
God, I keep forgetting. I had it a minute ago again. What I wanted to ask you, and I can't remember it again. Dang it! I got to reading the chat in there, and I lost it. Must not have been very important.
You got derailed. Welcome to my world. I get derailed all the time.
Well, it seems like it was something that I wanted to. Oh, it was Facebook. Their Facebook. They are deleting comments. So
That was the report I got early on. And, it was like when the comments first started dropping, it's like they didn't pay attention to it. And then they started getting inundated. And I guess maybe that's the report I have, is that people had made comments and that they could no longer find their comment. Whether it was deleted or they rearranged it somehow, I don't know. But if you do make comments on their Facebook page, please take a screenshot and save it for possible future use.
and make sure you remind them. Some of y'all, not everybody has to do this, but remind them every once in a while that it's against the law for them as a public entity to delete those comments. Now, if you're cussing or something or making threats, they can delete those. All right.
I did see
Or at
plenty
least,
of comments that were up there.
or at least hide them.
That, yeah, I did see several comments that included the C word that I won't repeat. And I'm not talking about cowards, although there was lots of coward comments. Yeah, I'm surprised to see what they have left up there, actually, because it really is coming down hard on them.
All right.
And
Well,
not the most professional language.
all right. We've been on 23 minutes or so, and I think we got pretty
Yeah,
much
that's
the
good.
information out there. And I don't want to draw this out and maybe go into some things and you divulge some things.
Yeah, I do
that-
have to watch what I say.
Yeah. So I think we pretty much covered everything. So I think we'll just end it here, and I'm going to ask again, you guys, go
I
over
do
to...
want to say one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to say one more thing, Steve. I got the entire theater of what you would expect, the tricks and ploys they use. These guys, it was like a pack mentality. One of them, I made the analogy. It's like when the little Chihuahua jumps off the porch and runs out going, "Roo, roo, 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 roo," and then all the big dogs turn around and go, "Roar!" That's basically how I felt that went. Okay, and with the huddle, they walk away, they break contact, they go huddle, they come back with a tactic. I can't wait to get those body cams, because Sanchez, I think his name is, said his was running the entire time. I just didn't notice it at first.
Yeah.
So I believe it was running. I would have to get my main cam back to see if it was, because I got pictures of them all through the window waving at me. Anyhow, yeah, Yeah, it's a good educational video for the ploys that the cops use to entrap a citizen for no law being broken.
All right.
And
Did
I'd like
one of
to
them
know
tell
that.
you that when he grabbed at your phone and you pulled the phone away, that is resisting? And that's where that charge
That's
comes
what
from?
the sergeant said constituted resisting when I pulled away. I said I was never informed that I was under arrest or being detained.
Yeah.
He just reached for my camera, and that's my equipment. That's my property. I was trying to protect it.
Well, I think if this ever,
I had no idea.
if judges
I had
did
no
their
idea I was
job,
about to be arrested.
if judges did their job, they'd look at the video and then just kick it out. But they don't do that kind of shit. They make sure that you have to spend all the money in the world, or the DA, I mean.
I could only speculate how this plays out in the court of the good old boys network.
Well,
Okay.
if you get a jury that's not a bunch of copsuckers, they're going to laugh at these idiots because there's no way they can say you were drunk. Dude, we saw the video.
Into cop haters.
Yeah, you weren't slurring. You were very articulate what you said. You weren't going back and forth trying to think of this or that or the other. It's just obvious as shit. And they made sure they didn't do any breath tests or anything on you. So it would just
They
be
did
their.
not.
That's right. So that way they could. It's just their word against yours. They knew that.
No probable cause,
Yeah.
no evidence, in the PI, and therefore there is no resisting charge. There is no probable cause for resisting if there's no probable cause for arrest.
That's right. That's right. And hopefully the DA gets
And,
hold of it
and
and
the
he's honest.
officer's
But we
opinion
know.
is not legal probable cause.
Yeah, well, we know the DA there is corrupt shit. So we know that they're going to do whatever they can and make it as hard on you as possible. But let's go ahead and leave it there. And we're almost at 30 minutes. So I'm going to thank everybody for being here. Please go by and subscribe to Constitution.
Concerned citizens, where is the Constitution?
Concerned citizens, where is the Constitution? And help him out if you can. We know things are tight for a lot of people. So don't feel bad if you can't help. But if you can, he could sure use it. And thanks for stopping by and sharing the rest of the story with us. And thank you, everybody, for being here. And we're going to call it a night. This is PNP News. We're out of here.
Good night, y'all. God bless.